Daniel from Team Kuribrohs here, joined with Thomas Rose. So Tom, what did you do this weekend?
Hello, I went up to the UK Open 3 in York, lovely venue here, and can you guess what I played?
What did you play?
I played Burning Abyss.
Shocking. Nobody expected this.
Sirens in the distance.
Who are you and what have you done with Tom Rose?
I played the deck I always play, I had a lot of fun. I lost my first round against a Danger FTK player. Ended up going into time and losing just marginally on life points after he fizzles on the FTK and just punts for a little bit of damage. He's a little bit ahead. Time gets called in his main phase 2, so I lost round 1 there, and then I ran it up and won all the rest of my rounds to finish 3rd place overall.
Beating your other teammates.
Yeah.
Who won later.
Yeah, somehow getting great tiebreakers despite losing round 1, so that went really well. I was super happy with it. We'll have a look at the deck list.
Let's go.
I played Baba, Seer, Calcab, Libic, 2 Fafa, Graph, 2 Skarm. 9 Burning Abyss monsters. They still mostly suck. You don't really want them, but it's not a BA deck unless you play them, so you play a few. The good ones, Rhino Warrior and Tour Guide.
These are your best BA monsters?
These are by a long way the best BA monsters. Rhino Warrior is great because it works with any level 3, be it a BA or not a BA, a few of those. And obviously Tour Guide is one card that does everything. And searchable. Onto the not BAs that are way more reliable, because even if you don't have BA plays, you can always do not BA stuff. 2 Gallus, 2 Snakes, 2 Jackalopes. So these are other level 3s that you can use to make Dantes with your Rhino, or if Tour Guide gets negated by anything, you just follow it up with one of these and you can continue your turn.
Yeah.
As you can probably guess, lots of 2-ofs. It's a Hydralander deck. Hydralander is still nuts. And yeah, I was really happy with everything. Bit of a change from previous builds of the deck. I was playing 2 Nessie as well. Like, I've seen a lot of Danger decks, and when they're resolving all of the effects of the good Danger monsters, they just go off and they keep going, and it's all cards that replace themselves. If you discard either another Danger or something that you get value off in the grave, like a Rhino Warrior or a Malicious, then you're just accruing that value. Like, in the same way that if you mill something good with a Dante, you get more value than you really should have got. Dangers give you another opportunity to get a bit lucky and just sort of incrementally build on that advantage. So I was really happy with those. Snow, obviously super important, it's the main piece of interaction. And then a couple of slightly less standard bits. I played the 1 Zephyros and Witch of the Black Forest. Zephyros works really nicely with all of the Danger monsters and Gallus. You can just put Gallus back in hand, get another mill, do some more damage. And Witch is pretty cool. When you link it away, you can search for an orbital Hydralander and just slam it straight down onto the board. The monster that you get with this can't activate its effects that turn, but you can still summon it, and even if you don't win that turn, which you usually do, you have a Hydralander ready to interact on your opponent's turn. The other neat thing about these is that between all of the different Danger monsters that I was playing and Burning Abyss stuff and these, I have loads and loads of different types of Dark monsters. So seeing what the... Yeah, I saw what the Danger Dark World deck had been doing, making curious, and I was like, yeah, I could do that in my deck, and it would also be really good. I'll just sit on Snow and play a slightly more fair game, but it's really, really reliable way of getting to the pieces that you need to put yourself in a winning position. I played 3 Malicious. Again, a lot of times I would send this with Curious as my one targeted send, but if you mill it, it's great. If you discard it with a Danger, it's great.
Did you hard make Beatrice much?
A few times, yeah. There were a few games that I was playing against FTK decks, so both the Rongo deck and the actual burn damage FTK. and against those you'll always choose to play first because you're at such a disadvantage going second, and having access to the rank 6 Beatrice in that particular matchup is really strong. Just being able to guarantee sending snow on your turn and having another piece of interaction for their turn puts you in a much more comfortable place. So played the Sulcius to make the rank 6 Beatrice. I play, another slightly more interesting card. I played one off Destrudo. This guy's great if you mill him, it's great if you discard him for a danger monster, and if you can set it up right, you can activate the effect targeting one of these 3 on the field. This comes out as a level 3, and you put that with a Gallus or one of the level 3 dangers, make a Dante, mill some cards, and because it didn't leave the field, it goes to the grave rather than the bottom of the deck, so it's there ready to use next turn. And Dark Dragon also helps make him curious. Another Dark Dragon, this guy. Getting to 3 monsters, 3 darks in grave, pretty easy. Like, you have a little bit of control about it in the early game, and if it's later in the game, you have access to snow anyway, so I never really struggled to make the numbers work for this. It's a really big body, and if you're playing against anything with back row, you can play through the first couple of pieces of interaction, and at that point, they've usually run out of steam, and everything else is not going to interact with your turn, so you just take out everything that's left over at that point. I played 1 BLS just as a card that I can get value if I'm playing first, and I search it with the Assault. It's not that strong of a card, but when you get it for free, it's obviously great. And 3 Hydra landers. Card is still insane. I've seen some lists playing 2, I've seen some lists not playing it at all. I don't understand why you would play this deck if you weren't playing Hydra Lander. This is the single best card in the whole deck. And then rounding off the monsters, I played 3 Kaijus. These 2 are small, this one you can search with Witch. And 3 Sekker's Light. I didn't play hand traps because it's not like FTKs exist or anything, so why would you need those? No, I assumed that I was probably going to lose game 1 to FTK decks, but I would rather be in a position where I can have what I think is the optimal main deck for more common matches against things that aren't FTK, and I would just accept that it doesn't work well for me. Is the camera okay?
The camera is slightly upset.
In the extra deck, I have a cool token. Boros Sword, Borreload, and Topologic Bomber. These guys are all pretty good. Huge attack points, they kill people. I wasn't playing Borreload for a while, but Parks suggested it on the Saturday morning, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. And I think I actually won a couple of games with it, so I was pretty happy with how that one went. On the Link 3s, I had Trispiana, which is obviously great against something with back row. Curious to set up plays. Decode, generally I'd summon this if I was needing to end on a Link 3 when I go first. It's the only one that has any sort of interaction for your opponent's turn, unless you can get really lucky and far for this, but I don't think I've ever done that. I understand that it's something that could happen. And the Unicorn. The Nightmare monsters are all absolutely obscene. They're like the strongest cards in every extra deck. The 2s, I had the Phoenix and the Cerberus. Isolde for if I'm playing first. Underclock Taker for reducing my opponent's life points to 0. And 1 of Mermaid. I don't know if I ever summoned this. Generally, I was just going second, and you don't really need it going second. And then 2 Dantes and a Beatrice. I guess I sort of missed having purple a bit. I think Beatrice died quite a bit this weekend, so I would have quite liked to have the purple. I might need to reconsider the rest of my extra deck to see if I can find a space for him. But you don't need more than 2 Dantes, and yeah, it's whether or not I can find a space to put in the Pilgrim. It's definitely not the most important card in the extra deck.
And the camera has gone out of control. We're trying a slightly new setup here.
Okay. In the side deck, I played a 4th Kaiju. This one's a light for BLS. It's also a Thunder, so you contribute Titan under Rivalry. Happens more than it should. 3 Pancratops. This is a side-in for anything that might be putting in floodgates like Mind Drain or Rivalry in a matchup where there isn't going to be enough back row to put in my whole back row hate package. So this is kind of like back row hate light in that.
It also outs Border, right?
Yep, it outs Inspector Border, it outs Majesty's Fiend. And he's 2600 attack. That's quite a lot of number. So even if you don't need him to solve a problem, he can help you win the game, which is, yeah, I've got a lot of time for cards that win the game. 3 Lancia. This was my hand trap of choice because I knew that at least as popular as the Danger FTK deck was going to be the Rongomniad FTK, well, good as FTK, and being able to drop a Lancia when they send Mali to the grave almost guarantees that they won't be able to set up the big Rongo with loads and loads of materials. So it puts you in a position where you can start your turn and be able to summon monsters. Big fan of that. It also has some application against the Danger deck in that they can't, if you shotgun this at the start of their turn, they can't use Allure of Darkness, and then they also can't play Beginning of the End either. So they have to be able to kill you without playing spell cards. It can happen, but it gives you a decent chance of living through the turn. I played 1 copy of Drong on Lockbird as an extra hand trap for against Danger Dark World, and it also gives me a hand trap that I can search with Witch if I'm going first against that matchup. I played standard 3 Reboot and 3 Twisters and 1 card Destruction for putting in against anything that plays lots of traps, because I can't deal with traps, so I'd rather just say they can't play them. Usually just follow up with a Trispina and wipe out everything. Pray they don't have Waking the Dragon, or you'll lose.
Did you see any Waking the Dragons this weekend?
Yesterday there were no Waking the Dragons, so that was nice. But I don't think I played against many back row decks. I had a really weird run through the tournament where I was playing lots of like real decks, but not. I don't think I played against Altergeist or Striker or Thunder Dragon. I was playing against different types of FTKs. I played against like a Cyber Dragon. I played against Trickstars. And I was playing against people that clearly knew what they were doing. They just weren't playing the decks that I was most expecting to be playing against.
Well, there were 60 between Thunder Dragon, or between Altergeist Striker and Thunder Dragon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I dodged those for all 8 rounds, and I would have been much happy playing against those decks rather than the mishmash that I ended up facing.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go through your matches, or any thoughts on the event as a whole?
I don't really remember all of the matches that I played. I know that there was at least 1 Rongomniad, at least 1 Danger Dark World. I think I played 2 Trickstars, 1 Burning Abyss, 1 Cyber Dragon, and then a couple of other bits where I was like, oh, this is an interesting matchup. I wonder how I play again. I played on stream the Invoke deck, which I was very happy that I'd gone with this as my anti-FTK hand trap, because really good against Invoked.
We saw this come down against a Cult by the Grave, was it?
Yeah. It was unfortunate Leon had like a really weak hand that game, so this would have shut him down if he had a good hand, but he just had nothing going for him anyway, so I was able to negate the called by. But yeah, shout outs to Team Kuribrohs, best team here. Shout out to our sponsor, Card Market, go there to buy your cards, and shout out to my lovely girlfriend Juliana for being really supportive.
Thanks for joining us, Tom.